The Derrick Rose Story. In the 2010-2011 season, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and several other stars in the NBA were rooting for a 22-year-old who would be competing in the NCAA to win the 2011 Most Valuable Player award. The young point guard eventually won the 2011 MVP award, becoming the youngest NBA player in history to win this prestigious award. Everyone believed Derrick Rose had a career destined for the stars, but today we still wonder what happened to him. This is the story of one of the greatest what-ifs in NBA history, the story of a star that faded as quickly as it shone. Born and raised in one of the roughest and most dangerous sides of Southeast Chicago, Derrick Rose was introduced to basketball by his brothers Dwayne, Reggie, and Allen, who were also basketball players. However, despite his early introduction to the game of basketball, not even his brothers could have imagined that he would be as talented as he was at a very young age. At the age of 15, Derrick Rose was enrolled at Simeon Academy in the Chatham area of Southside Chicago, where he played for the basketball team called the Wolverines. Naturally, due to his skills, it didn't take long to explode into the limelight, grabbing the attention of colleges in his first year of high school. In his freshman year at Simeon Academy, Derrick Rose averaged 18.5 points, 6.6 assists, 4.7 rebounds, and 2.1 steals per game, leading both the freshmen and sophomores to city championships with a 24-1 record. Later in his second year, he led them to a 30-3 record, averaging 19.8 points, 8.3 assists, 5.1 rebounds, and 2.4 steals. Also in his last year as a junior, D Rose, as he is popularly called, led the Wolverines to a 33-4 record and also helped them clinch the Chicago Public League Championship and the state championship in 2006. Derrick Rose immediately replicated his junior year performance in his first year as a senior and was soon named the 5th best prospect in the United States of America by Sports Illustrated. He further proved his talents, averaging 25.2 points, 9.1 assists, 8.8 rebounds, and 3.4 steals as he led the Wolverines to a 33-2 record and another state championship for the second time in 2 years. So, following his exploit in his last season with the Simeon Career Academy basketball team, Derrick Rose was named Illinois Mr. Basketball and naturally had several college basketball teams trying to recruit him to their roster. The young point guard, however, decided to play for the University of Memphis in 2007, and it didn't take long before he continued his outstanding performances, leading the team to a 38-2 record and qualifying them for the NCAA championship. In the 40 games he played in his last season, he averaged 14.9 points, 4.7 assists, and 4.5 rebounds per game, and later decided to forego the rest of his final 3 seasons at the University of Memphis when he declared himself eligible for the 2008 NBA draft. The 2008 offseason provided an opportunity for the Chicago Bulls to avoid their disappointing 2007-2008 season from happening again. The Bulls had finished the season 11th in the Eastern Conference, missing the playoffs after a 33-49 record. So, going into the next season, they were in search of new additions that would make the team competitive again. Therefore, the 6-time NBA championship winner drafting Derrick Rose with their first overall pick didn't come as a surprise to many. Also, this was because D Rose was already a star in the making in college. Fortunately, a young Derrick Rose exceeded every expectation the Bulls organization had for him. Starting in 80 games out of the 81 he played, he averaged 16.9 points on 47.5% field goal shooting, 6.3 assists, and 3.9 rebounds. And a rookie, Derrick Rose, even led the Bulls to the playoffs, averaging 19.7 points, 6.4 assists, and 6.3 rebounds in a playoff series that ended in Game 7 against the defending champion Boston Celtics. So, with his performance in his rookie season, he deservedly won the Rookie of the Year award, becoming the 3rd Chicago Bulls basketballer after Elton Brand and Michael Jordan to win the prestigious award. The city of Chicago and the fans of the Chicago Bulls were excited about the native rookie's first-year achievements, as they were sure to have finally found a franchise player to build around since Michael Jordan. And Derrick Rose didn't disappoint. He continued impressive performances in his sophomore year, averaging 20.8 points, 6 assists, and 3.8 rebounds per game in the regular season. He was selected to the All-Star game as a reserve for the Eastern Conference, making him the first Bulls player to be selected since Michael Jordan in 1998, and he averaged 26.8 points, 7.2 assists, and 3.4 rebounds per game in the 2010 playoffs. However, the Bulls lost in the first round to the Cleveland Cavaliers. By his 3rd season in the league, Derrick Rose had proven himself to be an elite point guard, dominating games and opponents with his athleticism and fast movements. He was now averaging 25 points, 7.7 assists, and 4.1 rebounds per game and led the Bulls to the best record in the 2010-2011 season, 62-20, finishing first in the Eastern Conference. In the same season, the 22-year-old Derrick Rose led the Chicago Bulls to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 13 years, but they lost to the Miami Heat super team of LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh in 5 games. His performance in the 2010-2011 season earned him the 2011 NBA MVP ahead of LeBron James and Kobe Bryant, and he became the youngest player in NBA history to receive the award. Following his MVP win, the future was bright for Derrick Rose and the Chicago Bulls. The MVP award cemented his superstar status, and the Bulls were as ready to build a dynasty around him as they did for Michael Jordan. So, going into the 2011-2012 season, he was tied to a 5-year contract extension worth $94.8 million, and with hopes of finally winning the 7th NBA championship of the franchise history, the Chicago Bulls fans had their hopes high. But unfortunately, things didn't go as they thought. Derrick Rose repaid their faith in him, leading the Bulls in points 21.8 and assists 7.9 per game as they once again finished first in the Eastern Conference, but his regular season was plagued with injuries ranging from turf toe, back spasms, pulled groin, and foot injuries. Due to his endless injuries, he only played 39 games out of a possible 66 regular season games. But this quickly ended, and the team again had their hope on Derrick Rose to help sweep the 8th seed Philadelphia 76ers, but the first game of the series turned out to be a turning point in the life of the 2011 MVP. With just a minute left in the game, Derrick Rose, who had recorded 23 points, 9 assists, and 9 rebounds, goes in for a hop and lands awkwardly, holding his left knee in pain. It was the biggest fear of every basketball player. Derrick Rose had torn his left ACL. In pain, he left the game and didn't return for the remainder of the series, and without him, the Bulls later lost the series. Derrick Rose was then sidelined for the entire 2012-2013 season. Eventually, he finally returned for the 2013-2014 season, but only played 10 games as he suffered a meniscus tear in his right knee. In the 2014-2015 season, he returned to playing with high hopes of returning to being the top player he once was, so he led the team in assists 4.9 per game and averaged 17.7 points in the 51 games he played in the regular season. Also going into the 2015 postseason, Derrick Rose led the Bulls to the Eastern Conference semifinal, and despite him hitting a fadeaway three-pointer at the buzzer in the 3rd game of the playoff series against the Cleveland Cavaliers, he still found it difficult to return to the fast, dominating, elite point guard he once was. This was also because he was now changing his style to avoid any serious injury. The Cavs later eliminated the Bulls, but he averaged 23.3 points, 6.5 assists, and 4.8 rebounds per game in the 2015 playoffs. Later in the 2015 preseason, Derrick Rose was back on the table after he suffered a fracture on his left orbital bone, so he began the regular season wearing a face mask. He, however, showed flashes of his old self, playing 66 games in the regular season, which is the most since his MVP season, but he was not able to help the Bulls make the playoffs as they finished the season 9th in the Eastern Conference. By the end of the 2015-2016 season, the Chicago Bulls had finally given up on their dreams of making Derrick Rose their next Michael Jordan as they eventually traded him to the New York Knicks. The talented point guard then became what was a shadow of his prime. He suffered another season-ending injury as he tore his meniscus on his left knee, forcing the 4th round of knee surgery for Derrick Rose in his 6 years. However, he averaged 18 points, 4.4 assists, and 3.8 rebounds in the lone season he spent with the Knicks. He also had a brief stint with the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 2017-2018 season, but he only managed to play in 16 games because of another series of ankle injuries. He also got waived by the Utah Jazz, and at some point, he got tired of getting tossed around by different teams. He also took some time off basketball to focus on getting better. However, the ever-resilient Derrick Rose was not giving up on himself and signed up for the Minnesota Timberwolves in 2018. In his first start for the 2018-2019 season, Derrick Rose was back to his glory days, scoring a career-high 50 points with 6 assists, 4 rebounds, and a game-saving block on the Utah Jazz's final shot of the game. When he was asked after the game what the performance felt like after so many years of facing injuries, an emotional Derrick Rose said, "Everything. I worked my ass off. I played my heart out." Later in the 2018-2019 season, Derrick Rose finally reached 10,000 career points after 10 years in the NBA, but before he could enjoy another stint of great performances, he suffered another series of injuries. He later joined the Detroit Pistons, where he had a career-high 14-game streak of scoring 20 points or more that was ended after he suffered a groin injury against the Denver Nuggets in 2020. A much better Derrick Rose returned to the New York Knicks in 2021 and has since been an extraordinary addition and 6th man to the team. He helped the Knicks finish 4th in the Eastern Conference while averaging 13.6 points, 4.1 assists, and 2.9 rebounds in the 61 games he has played so far. While he might have ended the 2021-22 season with another injury, and it doesn't look like his battles with injury is ending anytime soon, there is still no doubt that Derrick Rose has always gotten back to his feet every time he has been knocked down by injuries. and analysts believe he could have been one of the greatest players if he managed to soar over his injuries. However, being one of the greatest in the NBA is not made of could-haves and should-haves, so we can only hope the 33-year-old Derrick Rose still has much to offer to build his legacy as a legend. What do you think of D. Rose's story? Does he still have something to offer? Or is it time to retire and do something else? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Enjoyed this video? Now hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any exciting NBA scoop. Thanks for watching.